Welcome to the Chris Redfield Show, where I take a fishing hook, throw it to the ocean, make you sing Kumbaya while I go fishing, and then I whip us up a nice can of tuna, turkey, cocaine dinner. My name's Chris Redfield, and I'm your host for tonight, and I'm like the sexiest contestant on The Bachelor. What the fuck was I just saying? Anyways, the DarkAbridgerEX's radio abridged version, this time abridged because we didn't wait a whole another month to do this. I talk about the live anime shows, video games thing, crunch it down to smaller bits because that's just what it is. It's just the talk show portion without the games and the Q&A and all that crazy stuff. Yes, so that's me, El Dante, the DarkAbridgerEX, your Tomodachi, your rice ball on your Asian cuisine. And let's fucking have a nice day. Yippee-yi-yo, yay, ya-yo. What is wrong with me? Anyways, I'm on crack. So let's just get to it. Let's skip the whole shabingo shabango dingo dango and just just get right to the meat. So life. November. Remember, the day of November, the 4th of November. For some people, that was your, No Nut November. Some people was No Shave November. Other people was like Nuke Nut November or Nonstop Nut November. One of the fucking two. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed whatever you were trying to fucking do, whichever one you did. So, yeah, that was a month. School's been kind of quiet. It's like, you could tell that they're not really used to doing online classes, and so the workload has been kind of but then it's also like on Thanksgiving week, I think, or even the week before that, it was just quiet, no work, no nothing, and I'm just like, cool, I have other things I could be doing right now. I just really need to remember to pay for that. I think this week I need to make it a goal. I'm just gonna have to, like, I have money in the savings to pay for my classes, and I need to just say, fuck it, let's just transfer the money from my savings into my main account so that I could just pay for classes and not go to the bank. Shit. School's expensive. And I'm not even trying to do that financial aid stuff because, I mean, I could try to get grants instead of loans, which is definitely more preferred, but I'm going to see what I can do without having to put in that work because, you know, paperwork, effort, it's just a pain in the ass. But, yeah, that's really much it for about school. It's really abridged because there's not a lot going on. Life is really quiet. We had Thanksgiving, of course. That was just, like, last week as of this recording. And for the first time in 5,000 years, we had another family Zoom meeting with my mom's side of the family. And, it was like a short 30 minutes. It's not the call that was oof. It was the fact I could tell I'm fat now. I looked in the mirror. I looked in the mirror of the fucking camera, and I could see that my face has gone since I like cut the fuck down on working out. I really need to get into that. Get back to running, like I said I was going to fucking do, but then I fucking didn't. I think the real change for me that will like get that going is calming down on trying to hustle on workload, because a lot of it was just me saying, fuck this, I'm going to focus on doing RE2 and RE3 before Halloween gets here, and then it was like trying to make sure I finish it before the end of the year, and then some other stuff, but that's more of the updates. But I'm definitely getting the chonk, and it's kicking my ass. It's hurting my feelings. It sucks when your dad says you weigh more than him. I noticed I lost a few pounds from the last time I looked at the scale, which was only like 4 or 5, so it's like, I know I really do want to run. I want to run, but I also really want to dance, because I like to dance. So, a workout via dancing shouldn't be too fucking hard to do, because I like to dance, and there was some songs that I've been bopping to that I could, just take out in the garage and dance. Yep. So, yeah, there's that. Of course, right after that, literally not too long after that, I wake up at my usual 2 or 3 p.m., now more likely 3 p.m., because bedtime went from like 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. for some reason, and I can't seem to shake out of it. But I would wake up immediately to be told to start getting decorations up, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I don't know why, I'm just not really super motivated to do decorations. Every year I get older, I could tell that if I ever get my own place and it's Christmas time, I'm just gonna put up a fucking poster of a Christmas tree and pretend I have lights. Ta-da! I don't really want to go all out unless I have someone else helping me out with that who is more passionate about that than me. And plus, like, in our quarantine lifetime right now, there's no reason to really go all out. Like, we had, like, a blow-up snowman and Santa thing. We had, like, a lot more lights than we put up this year. Just because, like, we're in a cul-de-sac, not many people's gonna really come by our house, and we're not even hosting any fucking parties at our house. I think that's the one thing. I was joking at my family Thanksgiving. It's like, hey, at least during this time of the year, no one has to fight over who's hosting Thanksgiving at whose house or whatever, or Christmas. Ta-da! But yeah. So there was that. Then just yesterday, I got asked to assemble a tree. So this year, we did not buy a real tree, and honestly, given our burning California, it's a good idea that we just didn't have a fire hazard tree in the house. I'll take it. So, yeah, now we just have a fake tree. Real fake trees! Has its own lights assembled. You just pull the branches out, put the plugs in, yeehaw! Just put the thing in the pole and attach the other part in the air, attach the third part for the tippity top and shape it up so it looks like a tree. Ta-da! You got a fucking tree. It's the future, guys. I don't want to put in effort. And I mean, I was the one who assembled the tree because my old man's knee is getting fucking old. And he apparently needs to get an operation on that shit, so he can't really be doing much bending. Yay. So, yeah, that was about as much Christmas decoration we got so far. I mean, the rest is being done by me mum, because she loves to go decorate the house with some good old Christmas decorations. And she also does, like, Zumba teaching, apparently, so she had one for her background. Fun stuff, let me tell you what. So, yeah, that's pretty much most of life stuff, really. And then, of course, lastly, yesterday, it was my friend Alex's birthday. He is now catching up to my age. I'm surprised. It's always surprising, like, the difference. Like, I'm older than him, technically, but he considers himself more older than me. I'm just like, hey, listen, I live in the vida loca way. So, I do this shtick, usually, with, one of my more closer friends, that if I got their phone number, I call them, and then I do a Chevy-style happy birthday, at this restaurant, Chevy's. For those who don't have them, it's like Mexican tech-style restaurant kind of place, and when it's your birthday, the staff comes around, and you get like a sombrero, and they do a uno, dos, tres, cuatro, happy birthday from all of us to you, we wish you happy birthday so we could party too, hey! And that's what I do. So obviously anyone local who knows about Chevys is just, I'm like, here you go, there's your Chevy-style happy birthday call, ta-da! Well, for the first time, oh my god, in I don't know how many years I've been doing this now, but my friend Alex changed his number recently, and I still had it on direct dial and direct text on my phone. So I called the number to get the, we're sorry, but the person you were trying to call has not set up their voicemail box. Goodbye. I'm like, okay. So then I just send him like a happy birthday gift that was pretty intense. And then I get called back by him. And then I do my shtick again. But then I look to my phone because I didn't hear him respond or laugh to see that the phone was already hung up. Then I realized, as I got this text saying, sorry, wrong number, unhappy face, I'm like, uh-oh. Wait a fucking minute. I looked through my phone history to find the last time he technically called me, and I realized, oh, he changed his number. That's right. I need to update my direct call and direct text. So I call him, the right number this time, and I do my shtick, and I tell him the fucking story, and he's laughing as hard as I've never fucking heard him before. Because he's just thinking, like, oh my god, they called you back, and then they were immediately like, nope. Fucking. Yeah. Sometimes I could be pretty smart, but other times I'm the fucking dumbest person in the fucking building. And that was one of those moments for me. Kinda fucking embarrassing. But what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do when they come for you? And that's just really it about life. Just as like the year just rolls on with this more quiet quarantine life, at least for me, since I'm not like trying to do anything fucking crazy. I just kick back, and most of any other updates I can really give you is just from the media I consume. So on that note, let's talk about really just anime. So on the anime, it's gonna be mostly in order from when I was watching it. Not too long after the last Spoodcast, I decided to start Steins Gate Zero. Oh. So that was depressing. It just... See, okay, so we're gonna talk about this anime with people who know what's happened. So if you... This is gonna be 100% spoiler talk for animes, and I would hope that you had seen Steins Gate Zero, because that came out in 2018. A year that I'm glad I definitely didn't watch that at, because I would have been more emotionally erect than I am now. Did I say erect? I meant wrecked. I would have been more emotionally wrecked, destroyed, than I would have been now. Ta-da. Anyways, so Makise Kurisu. I liked her. I reckon I resonate with Okabe when, you know, he wants her to live when he fell for her and all that stuff, that support stuff, you know. I believe I had traits like that given for my wife, Aya. So, in the timeline where he just decided to give up on saving her, and he just wallows in fucking misery over it, I am feeling that. My empath is just fucking depressed with him. I felt like angst I haven't felt in a long time. And then there's the fucking intro. There is no God, wonderful new world. Oh, God. Whew. This was a rough series. It was so rough and edge for me that I actually decided to binge the whole thing within like the day or two I started, because I don't think I was gonna go to sleep in peace without finishing it and seeing it through. And that's like one of those 24 episode anime kind of deal. So I went and did that. I had a lot of feels along the way. I cried so much. It was crazy how much I fucking cried. But near the end, it was a bittersweet conclusion. It happened, and it was just like, oh, that's really cool that they had like this nice long backstory to getting to the Steins Gate through what originally happened, supposedly. And also give us some more juice between, the birth of Yuki and all that stuff. And I'm just like, that's nice. That's a pretty nice wife you got there. But there was like a lot of fucking red herrings, and the fact that I didn't play the visual novel, I don't really know how it works, and I'm pretty sure there was a lot of things that would have been more explained, like the fact that the fucking, the mom, wife, babe thing that I liked probably had more of an explanation of what the fuck was going on, because, yeah. But obviously, a quick Google search resolved all that, but anyways, so... Yeah, it was a journey. It was a really depressing one, but I was really happy to like see that whole conclusion. But then I got like to the extra episode, the OVA like one for Valentine's Day, and I was still back in that slump because I was like, okay, so they really edited it at 23. They just had one extra Doki Doki event for that episode. All right. So to cure myself completely, 100% make sure that I'm fucking happy, I went to go and watch the last episode of Steins Gate, like the original, all over again, just so I can get that conclusion that I was waiting for. Just have that happy ending where him and Kurisu just get back together again, they meet up again, they're happy, and he's with the girl that he loves. And I'm just like, yep, that's what I want. This is it. I like this. And of course, one of the most cathartic moments was definitely when Okabe returned to being Hyoin Kyoma. Hyoin Kyoma desu! It was just really good. That was like one of those moments where I'm like, yep, there he goes. He's rising back. He's getting his smile back. A little something I'm writing myself with my own stories. So it's like, it's really that cathartic moment when he comes back. It just, when the voice actor, the seiyuu, was just waiting to go, yeah! Psy. Kongur. Really good moment. Really good moment. And then I thought they were about to do like a go backwards thing, but then he was like, nope. I'm just like, yep. This is what I wanted. So, that was the end of that angst journey. So then what do I start right after that? I go watch Persona 5 anime, because I wasn't ready. My next anime I was going to watch was going to be the last one that I was originally going to list before I started watching the next one. But I watched the Persona 5 anime. And, for me, let me talk about my perspective, my experience with Persona 5. So obviously I played Persona 5 in English back in 2017. I really hustled to finish it before I met the voice actors and all, so I can properly get autographs, and I just wanted to I don't know. I wanted to at least say that I beat the game, kind of deal. And it turns out by the time I actually got there, I didn't really get to say much, but, yeehaw. But, so, that being said, I only experienced the game in English. I never really got to do it in Japanese. I was gonna do a second playthrough of Persona 5 and do it in Japanese, but I never got around to that. It was getting to that time where you just start playing a bunch of other games. Once you finish it, you don't really come back to replay it. That mentality was starting to come through. So, for me, the anime was my way of experiencing the game all over again in Japanese, but obviously, the anime, given that it was on that 24, 25, and 2 1-hour episode budgets, it really focused on the main game while tackling some of the social links, precisely just your main party ones. I mean, I wouldn't really say too much about Haru, because, one, I never got to finish Haru in my playthrough. Same thing for the weapons dude. Those were the only 2 I didn't get to finish, and they didn't really tackle that too much, but they at least got enough for everyone else to, get by and get some character growth development thing. Boober. But I've heard so much people, have their beefs and qualms with Persona 5 story in general, and it's not like they're completely wrong. I don't know. I guess I'm a guy who just kicks back and just enjoys the media, even if it's but how do high schoolers go from, fighting these people in this meta world to fighting God? That's, fucking ridiculous. That's so unreal. Please stop making high schoolers be more powerful than adults. It's just it's whatever, guy. It's a fictional game with a fictional story meant to be enjoyed by those who just want to enjoy that crap. So, that was me. And, yeah, I enjoyed it. I was seeing, people had beef with the Persona 5 anime. I'm like, I don't know what the problem is. I don't see the problem here. I mean, if it's, one of those, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 animation snapfoos, okay, maybe, but I didn't really, pay super close attention to that. And then, more importantly, I didn't see, shit like the Killer Queen introduction where the fucking emblems were, Chinese knockoffs. So, I don't know. I enjoyed watching the Persona 5 anime. I can only really think that people had a beef that it wasn't as in-depth as Persona 4 by tackling all of the social links. That's really it. And I mean, if that's it, then I'm I get it. But at least it tackled the main story and went through the dungeons, so to speak, in a way that works with the whole montage thing. I can accept it. Because you don't need to. If you want to experience everything there is to offer in Persona 5, you play the game. That's kind of the main point. I feel if you want to enjoy the main story, there you go. There's the anime. You want to experience everything else? Play the game. Play the game. That's it. That's all I can really say. There's just that's it. And then I watched some clips of the English dub to see how they did on some stuff, and it all comes back to one of my biggest issues with dubbing, which is not even so much like, my first complaint is usually when the delivery isn't as good as the Japanese, because I don't know why they couldn't, when you can't match the intensity of the original. I don't know why you don't do it. If you get to hear the audio of what the Japanese counterpart was like, because I know they do, and you can't equivalent yourself to it, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is it? I know it's not like 100% the voice actor's fault. It's also the people who do the directing and all that stuff that just decided, oh yeah, that's good enough. No, it's not fucking good enough. You got, in my opinion, if you're gonna do a good English dub, you need to be the English equivalent of the show you're fucking doing. That means voice cast. The voice actor should be like a similar range to the fucking character you're voicing. I'm not asking, like, I know there's like a big ass culture difference in terms of like younger characters, like all the high pitched character girls we get in anime versus like, you know, people who would probably sound like this American voice in their age. You know, there's some degree I can get to that, but there's also just making sure you do it justice, that you sound good enough, that it has the same intensity. Otherwise, it just, I can't. My other biggest issue, what I was gonna really talk about, Takamaki Sakamoto. I fucking hate Makoto. It's all, it gets on my goddamn nerves. That was the one thing. And as soon as I watched some of the dub clips and I heard those pronunciations again, I died. I died all over again. I remember what I fucking hated in English dubbing. And it's when people can't pronounce Japanese names properly. And they just do this English butchering fucking pronunciation of it. I don't know why that's a thing. I don't know why, after several years of doing dubbing, that they still can't do this right. Sakamoto. Sakamoto. It's phonic, guys. Don't mash it all together. Sakamoto. His name is Sakamoto Ryuji. Takamaki. It's not that hard. Makoto. Makoto. Kotori. You just give it a slight accent. Or something. Just say it right. Please. English Dub Studios. They're not really going to listen to me. No one out there is going to... I'm not that big enough to reach out there, and this Abridged SP00Dcast is not really going to reach out there. But I really just want... If you're going to do something Japanese, like something that's actually Japanese, please, have fucking mercy. Do it right. Please don't butcher foreign stuff just because you don't know. Learn. Research. Make a good dub. That's all I want. That's all I ask for. I'm starting to sound like Shaun on the Ward about video gaming, but with anime. But yes, that's all I ask for. Anyways, that's my little rant about English dubbing and Persona 5, because that little moment just came out of me again. Sorry if that kind of got on your guys' nerves or anything. It's just, you know? Okay, so the next thing on the list was, so everyone remembers Alexis, right? She was on the main SP00Dcast Season 1 guest with the Momo avatar that I gave her. She's the one who got me into Love Live, for those of you who don't know, for those of you who didn't watch that episode. But the point is, we were talking, because I was talking about the Nijigasaki girls, and it was like, so good. But then we talked about Sunshine, because apparently she loves Sunshine a lot more, and we then talked about watching the movie, because I haven't watched the movie, and she hadn't watched the movie, so we decided that we're gonna fucking watch the movie together. We're gonna finally watch Love Live Sunshine over the Gaybo. And, I was told by my good old buddy, my 85% clone, Kome-san, White Rice, Justin Kome-san, that I should get ready for another layer of feels. Like how bad I was feeling when I watched the fucking Love Live movie, the fucking first one, the part 1, as I like to call it, movie. And I didn't really get that. I didn't really get, like, a lot of feels. At best, my only feels was for, like, the whole Saint Snow part, where she has her little redemption arc kind of deal. because that shit hit home. That made me cry. And then the song started right after Believe Again, and then I'm just like, all right, well, I guess Feels Time is over. And then the only other part was the very last song sung by Aqua, which was like their little, like, we're doing this on our own. And then the Third Years popped in briefly to sing their part. I'm like, oh god, I'm getting like Aerith vibes again. And that kind of made me feel for 5 seconds. But I wasn't fucking destroyed at all. It was just instead of just because it's like, I feel like it was an opposite. Because they're not... The key thing about watching Love Live Part 2 was they first started really way too fucking close to Muse. Like, when I was actually rewatching everything because I realized Season 2 was a fever dream for me. Like, I barely remembered what happened. And then I was watching it and it was all starting to come back slowly. But during Season 1, while I was rewatching it, I'm like, it's like watching Love Live Part 1 all over again. Just slightly different, but the character equivalents are still making their character equivalent appearances and plot points or whatever. And I'm just like, okay. Alright. And, yeah, it was just... It was a trip going back, and I was like skimming through it. I wasn't like rewatching everything, but I was skimming through it. But it's just like, Jesus Christ, guys. It was way too much similar to part 1. But then like it started becoming its own thing near the end. And then for Season 2. Especially since the fact they lose. They don't win. They don't ever come and save their school. The school goes down. They win Love Live, but they lose the school. Shit. Okay. That's cool. So then the movie, yeah, they graduate, but they don't stop Aqua. They keep going. So it's like, it's not the exact same vibe as before, but there was definitely like a whole, like, you know, the subplot was get the people to like our group. Alright, we'll try to figure that out. Hey, wait a minute, Mari's mom wants you to go to fucking Italy because we need to have I feel like their trope now for the movies, if part 3 or the next part gets a movie, they're gonna go somewhere. Like maybe in the Nijigasaki Part 3 universe, they're gonna go to fucking Emma's homeland country for the movie if they do that. Ta-da! But, so they do go to Italy, and there's that fucking Yo's cousin, or Yo the Second, black hair Yo, to do all the plot devices, and was just kind of there, and the Third Year's plot kind of happens. It looked like that was going to be the main focus of the movie, but it was just like a brief 5-second thing, just like New York, and then they come back to take care of the main plot. I really felt at that part, it was almost semi-everywhere. I was like really confused. I really thought about for a second looking back in the movie and think about, was the pacing for the movie also weird, or is this just a thing that part 2 is messing up on? And I don't know. The Third Year song was really cool. They flipped us off though. They did this thing where they took their fist and they bumped them together, and then they made their hands explode. Now, for those of you who don't know 90s culture, aka Friends, or don't bother to watch Friends, or don't like Friends, or whatever the fuck, there's this thing where Ross Geller, one of the characters in the show, does this thing where he does that same motion, and that's his way of saying fuck you. So, on that note, my friend's brain saw myself getting flipped off by the Third Years because of their fist open hand explosion movement. So now you know. For those of you who watched the movie, you got flipped off. Yep. After that, I ended up actually listening to Believe Again and then some of Guilty Kiss's songs, because I try to avoid the songs like the plague, so I don't have more idle music showing up in my iTunes to try to minimize explosion. I believe I originally mainly did that because my iPod had so much space back in the day, and I was trying to avoid giving more reasons to fill it up. But I still haven't. I'm still, like, I listened to a few songs, and especially, like, Koware Suki. That song had major wife vibes. It made me think of my wife, Aya, a lot. It was great. So yeah, movie, okay. It was alright. Like, it was pretty fun to watch, but I didn't really have any major feels. Yeah, it was just one last thing I get to watch with Aqua. And I feel like we're going to segue into talking about Nijigasaki while we're still on this topic. Because I was, for later on, I'll talk about that I was writing Season 2 for GM18. More on that later. While I was doing that, I was rewatching the episodes. And I'm looking at the CG for that. And the CG was still, you know, a little clunky. I didn't mind it as much, you know. It's definitely not the best, but it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers anyone else. Part 2 CG had really fucking crazy camera angles, which I'm a big fan. I love good camera work done in music videos and stuff. Like, I think that's like, when there's dancing and there's good camera work, it really spices up the dance. Otherwise, if I was just watching it on a still screen like I do for when I was watching practice dance videos, for like the time that I worked at some place that needed dancing, it's just, I don't know, it's not as exciting versus when you're moving around and just imagining the camera works. So part 2 had a really good camera work. The one thing that was standing out to me though, like, was the eyes. Like in part 1, the eyes were still like contained to be matching what they semi-looked like in the 2D. And then when part 2's CGI came on, everyone's eyes, or their pupils, were shrunk, so they all look like they're super excited, which was weird, because there was an inconsistency, because then when it goes back to the 2D moments, their pupils are back to normal size, where, you know, they look all sticky, lovely, and all that shit, and then they're all popped out for CG. It was really weird. And then we get to Nijigasaki, where I feel like that's the best they've got so far, where the CG really does feel like it blends a little more better. Like I say, like maybe 80, 85%, 90% at best with the 2D animation. It doesn't feel super intrusive. You can still tell it's CG, but you can at least believe it a little more. You can believe again... Sorry. You can believe more that it's definitely, like, part of the animation instead of, like, something that's completely detached. So, yeah. So, on the note of Nijigasaki, oh my god. Finally, at this point of the Spoodcast, the latest episode that came out was Karin's second episode. That's right, Karin's second episode, because Emma just got shoved to the motherfucking side for Karin. But we had Shizuku and Kanata. Oh my god. My fucking waifus. I really like Nijigasaki girls. The Nijigasaki girls have like the most likable girls ever. I like them. Obviously the only real like girls that don't really click with me is Kasumi, for obvious reasons. Like, she doesn't have full disrespect for me compared to PayPal, especially after Shizuku's episode, where I'm like, yeah, see, this is why I knew I don't completely dislike her. I got some respect for her. I just really don't like her as an idol, or her gag that, you know, she's like, oh, I'm so cute, ooh, shove out of the way, let me be cute too. I don't really like that. That trait's annoying, but she's a good friend. Like, her character, outside of trying to be the cutest in the most brattiest way possible, is actually not so bad. I like it. But yeah, otherwise I get... And her design is not as bad as PayPal, because I hated PayPal's design of pigtails. Yeah, but anyways. So, yeah, she's not really that high on the list. Karin is not really high on the list either, but I hold her a little bit more above Rina, because I'm not, like... These three girls are not on the highest on my list, but they're not... I don't completely dislike them. So... there was also... the fact that, you know, I couldn't even categorize, or I couldn't even, like, number it yet, but after all these episodes of getting character development and growth and all that stuff to, like, fill up my Doki meter for everybody, for damn sure, my number one is definitely Ayumu. She is the fucking cutest thing in the fucking group. I want to hug her. I want to give her, like, a good hug, pat her head, she's so adorable. I fucking want to protect Ayumu. And of course, Ayumu just had to have an I, like an AY. She's just one letter away and a few letters removed from being Aya. But she's Ayumu, and she's cute instead of, like, you know, Aya, who's, like, mature, sexy, and all that stuff. So, yes, she's my number one. She's so fucking cute. Ayumu. And then, of course, my seconds and thirds, I can't really figure this one out too much, but between second and third, obviously, is Setsuna and Shizuku, and after Shizuku's episode, I was... my wife. My sticky waifu. She was like one of my favorite girls back in when I was still playing Sif with the normal cards, and it's really cool to see her all fucking animated and have her own episode. But everyone and their goddamn mother, at least Persona fans, because clearly someone else had something else in mind, we're all thinking about Persona when she had her shadow talk about the truth inside of her, the locked away part of herself that she was in denial of. And then my Persona 5 brain was also just thinking, show me your true form! That's it. Or, Obaitier. That's what I was thinking, to remove her mask, unleash her true self. Yeah. And her song was fucking sticky, utsukushi. Beautiful, just like her. And then I love I guess I didn't realize this until I saw Shizuku, but I see the different outfit were attributes to the other cards where they wore different outfits. I'm like, oh, that's what they were doing in the other music videos. Okay, yeah. I'm on board with this. So, yeah, that was really cool, and I really like that she's a dog person, because that means she likes dogs, and I'm a dog. Woof, woof. Woo! 5, 6, 7, 09! Yeah, Shizuku was great. They saved the best for last. I'm kidding, Karin. Some people didn't like her song, but I liked it. It was pretty boppin', and Karin's voice was like hella deep, and I wasn't really for Karin on that note, but her singing is actually really good. I like her as a singer, and I guess throughout the series, as she spoke more words, it's not like as deep as I originally remember, but it's still like, I don't know. She's definitely got her own Nichan vibe. That's why she's, in terms of my lowest 3 girls, she's at least on the top above Rina and Kasumi, but everyone could be on top of Kasumi for easy reasons. But yeah, so I had to categorize that my most passionate, in terms of passionate girls that I like, the order was Setsuna, Ai, and then Kasumi really can't be cat on that. She is passionate, but I don't know. It's still like, for me, so, there's that. The cutest, obviously, is Ayumu, Emma, and then I guess Rina, if we're gonna order it like that. And then, of course, like, the utsukushi, the beautiful, goes to Shizuku, Kanata, and then Karin. Ta-da. And that's how it's ordered, from top to bottom. And, obviously, Kanata. I'm gonna talk about Kanata, because she was, like, when I first saw her on Sif, she didn't really stick out. She was like, oh, she's just a sleepy character. Okay, that's great. Then she started looking a little more beautiful. And then in the anime, she really stood out. She really, like, her cute, beautiful sleepiness, her little, like, relaxed expression, her voice, everything was clicking. And then her episode comes in where she's an older sister, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I forgot about Haruka and the other girls, because it's all starting to click to me once I see them in Nijigasaki, like fucking Ayano Koji in Karin's episode. I'm like, oh my god, that's right, these are the other girls. It's been like 5 years since I played Sif. Or, like, it was like since 2017 when I dropped Sif, finally, off the face of the fucking earth. So it's been like 3 years, but it was really cool seeing that. But yeah, so Kanata, being older sister, was really clicking with me, and when she was having that fight with her sister, I'm like, oh no, don't be sad, no, oh no, she's trying her best to care for her, but her sister is just not having it. I'm like, no, baby, no, please don't cry, don't be sad, I don't want you to be sad. And then her song happened, and I was just like, my jaw was dropped. I was washing dishes from dinner, and I see the music video play, and I'm like, oh my god, I love you! I need to drink some water. Remember, guys, drink water if you're gonna talk for hella fucking years. So, yes. Fucking utsukushi, fucking great girls here. I can't wait for this week's episode when we finally get to see them all together doing things, because for the most part, every girl was taking a backseat, so then every every character actually gets their episode. Unless your name is Emma, then you see what happens when you try to include other characters. But, yeah, it was really, really good. I'm really looking forward to more. I can't wait to see the group sing. Come on, guys. I'm waiting for this. So, that's the Love Live rant. Other than that, Higurashi is still Higurashi. I'm still I need to get around to rewatching more of the episodes again to see what happened differently, because then the second arc happened, and I already knew that it was different from before, just from the beginning and then the ending, because I know a lot of other shit's supposed to happen instead, and then I saw why. I saw one minor change at the very beginning change the whole course of the entire arc, and I'm like, damn. Shit. Oh, man. In a world where Keiichi stops dying, spoiler alert, I told you we were going to talk spoilers, and he just lives to tell the tale, or at least the first arc, he survived Rena's brutal multiple stabbing to at least be long enough for the virus to kick in and him scratch at his neck, and that still makes me freak out. It still freaks me out. Fucking gross. But then survives fucking Mion Shion frenzy murder spree thing. But poor Rika, after obviously the second half of season 2 of Higurashi, I start feeling more for Rika, she's more than just the Nipa cute lolly girl, and she's this person who you just want to be happy because you're tired of her dying and re-experiencing the world, because she's just she just has to deal with this shit, and she puts up with it. She tries her best to live, but she keeps getting stuck in this countless timelines of dying. But it was really kind of hilarious when I saw that, oh yeah, Keiichi's using the cat story on Rika. Ha, that's rich. And then she laughs at him for using the story that she used back in the original run, and then fucking is like, you should have fucking watched me dance, Keiichi. I'm just like, that's a nice way to summarize her feelings. Should have just watched Rika dance, you fucker. Now you're dead. Well, he wasn't dead, but everyone else was fucked. But yeah, it definitely played super different because of that. Because of, the fact that he gave, the doll to Mion. I gotta get back into brushing up my Higurashi, because I still get the Mion Shion confused, but obviously I like the elegant one. Anyways, so, yeah, that's Higurashi. Tony Kala is still fucking cute. It makes me doki every episode. I resonate. I resonate with Nasa having his, doki passions for Tsukasa, but he's also just, he's just great. I like him as a kid. He does his thing, and I'm starting to see more of what Tsukasa is seeing in him, and I'm just like, oh, it's cute. She does have her doki reasons for this boy that just went out of his way to, follow her while dying because she's cute. Because she thinks he's cute, too. So, yeah, I definitely like to see. I definitely enjoy watching where this goes, even if the conflicts or stakes or whatever is very low. Fucking Aya, the Aya in that show, having her moment of realization way late into the series. I'm like, huh, okay, all right, whatever. It's all cute. Yep, that's really all I have for the currently airing anime. So here we go to Shokugeki no Soma. Everyone on my server who has joined the I bumped into my fucking thing. My fucking server has heard about me ramble about how I felt about the 5th plate season 5. But let's just start by talking about where I resumed from. I resumed from season 3. I know I watched season 1 and 2, and my memories say that it's nothing super remarkable, at least for me. Obviously it had its effect for then, and, Soma overcoming the challenges and all that stuff, but things I personally, from my memory, from how I felt, really got spicy during season 3. Why? Here comes Erina's father. He's a cold-hearted son of a bitch that made her cold. He's taking over the school. The school is getting this whole fucking dark turn of events, kind of like I won't actually make that comparison, but y'all know what I'm thinking about if you really think about it in terms of relevancy and time. So there's that going on, and then there's like the things just keep getting spicy. Like, you know, they're gonna do what they can to rebel against the system, the corrupt, fucking, broken-ass system. They got the followers that are following the corrupt, broken system, and then they're going through this character arc. Erina goes through a character arc of, you know, not being chained to her father anymore, and it was all really cool and stuff, and Soma gets to re-challenge people he lost to before and overcome them because of his newfound strength and training and guidance, in especially when his father steps in and all that stuff. Like, it just really got good. It was really spicy and juicy, and especially because, like, one of the main appeals of the show is the underdog rising to the top, and I wanted to see him get to the top. All right. So there's all that going on, you know. Megumi has her whole, like, development and a lot of shit. Like, you know, she just grows. There's this whole, it's a cool thing. And then, you know, finally, the moment of time comes, and the one thing about this anime was that you already know what's gonna happen. Like, there's really no shock to who wins or who loses, because it was a very formulaic thing. For the most part, for most of the time, until they started presenting their dishes at the same time, whoever presented their dish first usually lost. And then whoever presented second usually wins. Except for, like, the one time they deviated, and they had, like, Tsukasa... Yeah, the Tsukasa of Shokugeki no Soba, and not Tonikawa, fucking bring his dish first, and then, in comparison to the opponent, they liked his more, and I'm just like, ta-da! Surprise, surprise! But other than that, it was really predictable. So when, like, Megumi lost, I was just like, well, she had no choice. She went against the people that the intro has shown they have to go against. Kobayashi and Tsukasa had to fight Soma and Erina. That was it. If they went any earlier, everyone else is fucked. And I'm just like, okay. So, you know, no real stakes really there. If anything, it was just to see more of the crazy fucking food research and people orgasming over food, of course. And then, like, come closer to the final rounds, and the judges that were mostly, like, two dudes and a girl get replaced with, like, what I consider is, like, the Rule 63 equivalent, so we could stop seeing men grown and start seeing women grown, like this clear shift in fan service and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh my god. It's a little whack, but I like the development. Like, Erina was getting closer to Soma, and she gets less cold, and Ryoko, beautiful lady. My best girl was Ryoko, though I really supported the idea of Soma and Erina's ship, because Erina's also pretty herself. She really looked pretty during the end of Season 3 when everyone had this hairstyle change, and then Ryoko cut her hair short. I'm like, why? She was a minor character, but why? Why would you do that? It's not like super bad short, and then, like, when I saw her in a ponytail in the 5th plate, I was like, I still love her. She's still my waifu. It doesn't die. It just cries just a slight little. But, yeah, so they overcome that. They overcome the father. The whole... Erina has a new personality, becomes the fucking head of the Totsuki Academy. Sure, Soma gets first place. He finally gets to the top. I'll take it. Yeah, there you go. You did it. Series over. But it wasn't. They had the 5th plate. And, like, for the most part, I was just like, okay, I can get behind it because there's, like, unfinished business, like, what was it? The fact that we still didn't get to hear Erina say that Soma's dish was delicious, or that there wasn't too much going on between them as much as I wanted, and they started showing that there's, like, a little feel for them. Like, there might be some romantic feel going on, and I wanted that. Like, I wanted these two to, like, have this arc and then come together. And they get the love-loves. Maybe a beso, maybe something. Say his food's delicious. What are the... Something. I really wanted some sparks to finally fuel after 5 seasons of this show. And not to mention Season 3 having, like, a fucking, like, 24-episode budget. Holy shit. Season 3 and 4 with you know, Erina's father, just Azami, really did a number. It was really great. A good, really high stakes. I really think there was nothing else they can do. So at the beginning of Season 5, I was really feeling like this is kind of prolonging the inevitable. Like, this probably could have had, like, a few more episodes to wrap up something written a little differently. Because then there was just, the first episode was just one little trial to show how the new Elite 10 is taking care of business now. And then comes in Asahi, who I was just like, okay, so they took Azumi, had a younger version of him, and now instead of trying to take the God's tongue for, like, to do whatever he wants the God's tongue as his wife. Okay. And then, of course, there's, like, a little spark between Soma and Asahi because of, like, their own reasons. Like, I didn't really know where Soma stood in terms of feelings for Erina. There was, like, only one brief moment where he's caught by her beauty. But there wasn't a lot going on. If anything, he just wanted to make sure that she doesn't lose herself. So then they finally have the blue preliminary thing, the thing that to show that Soma has grown past his father who was so good at cooking that he backed the fuck out from doing cooking and traveled the world till he met the wife and had a family and got his passion back. Soma wants to be the guy that goes to blue, doesn't lose his way in the storm, and just keeps on going. Alright, I can get behind that. And then Noir came in. And then the corrupt food group Noir came in. And this is the part where everyone has a general consensus of how they feel about the fifth plate. And I'm just reiterating everything that they say, but with my own slight different variation take. Shit just got really fucking whack. Because the blue preliminary is now invaded by this group. And it's led by Asahi, above all things. And the people in the group... Let's start by the fact that every other people that Soma and the gang has fought against were usually people who were high-class chefs, who kind of looked down on them because they were superior. There was just that gray line between them, but they weren't completely evil. They weren't completely, like, bonkers. There was still redemption and likableness for them. And then we have the fucking Noir group, and they have, like, none of that. They're just straight-up villains. And above all things, they're villains pulled out of fucking JoJo or God Hand for video game players. Like, they were the most ridiculous things. Like a girl who's cooking things with the guillotine. Some guy who uses a blood-sucking thing to take care of blood and food. A fucking clown. A fucking clown who juggles food to do heat manipulation. The most insane batch of wacky villains I've seen, and the worst of them all. Actually, not the worst, the craziest, and the one that I actually... At the point when she started cooking, I was just laughing, like from amusement from how ridiculous this was, but not like in a bad way, kind of, was the chainsaw lady. The lady who cooks things with a specially modified chainsaw as a knife. And then... And she has, like, the cooking competition with Soma. She, like, has a detonator in the oven. She pushes down the thing, and it explodes. And she creates this beautiful-looking dish from being so violent. I'm just like, oh my god. This is so fucking ridiculous. What is this? I was enjoying that. It was so fucking ridiculous and really shows that, you know, the book should have been closed sooner. But I really liked her. I think out of everyone that was out there, the guy who came after, the fucking really eccentric old man in the glasses with his Okama girls, was the part where it's just a stretch. You know, that was like when Chainsaw Lady was the only one that I really found from all the ridiculously looking fucking villains out there to be the only one that was like semi-likable and all that stuff. And because it was a 12-episode budget anime, they really cut everything short. Like, you know, they had one main battle and then everyone else kind of just gets skipped through. Like Megumi's battle against the fucking assassin cooker with claw knives. Just 1, 2, 3 punch. Oh, it's over? Okay, great. It really had that anime abridged feeling, but at the same time, it also just felt like that extra inning that didn't need to happen. And then above all things, the other conflict besides Asahi and trying to get Erina's hand in marriage to cook for her forever was the fact that the leader of the WGO, the group of like cooking people and judges and shit, the person hosting the blue preliminaries, the person that they have to cook for and make sure they win. If they win, they become her personal chef, was this lady who I suspected was Erina's mother, and surprise, surprise, it's Erina's mother. Whoa, what a shocker. She's expecting the discount Asahi to be the one who wins to cook for her, because then she doesn't have to suffer the curse of the god tongue of not enjoying food anymore, because all of a sudden we had one guy, the father, who wants the god tongue to cook, to follow his lead, and then we got the mom who doesn't want the god's tongue because it's cursed. Jesus Christ. And so I'm just like, okay, alright. And then there's a whole fucking mini arc for Soma and his mom, and then the whole like, oh no, Asahi was formerly his father's student before he spent more time with Soma. Oh, he's been abandoned, fueled with hate and vengeance and jealousy. Okie dokie. And then of course it's revealed later that, oh, he was given the same motive as Soma, that trying to cook for someone, dedicate your cooking to someone so you can become a great chef. Alright. But he got a little misguided, and he was Mr. I steal your moves, and basically, I feel like he was a form of nice test for Soma, because he was a combination of all the chefs that he's fought and stolen knives from, like his father and Tsukasa, who he wanted to both go against and win. And then he does win. So on that front, I can appreciate that. I really like that battle. It really pushed Soma to his limits, to show how much he's grown as the first seat. He just keeps... He only lost, once during the predictably you're going to lose challenge unofficial match against Tsukasa. Or not Tsukasa, Asahi. And that was fine. I was able to accept that. It was pretty cool. And then here's Erina. Erina, on the flip side, for her mom, is going in circles. Her whole character arc that she developed in the previous, Azumi arc, was suddenly just back going in circles. She's all suddenly cold all over again because she wants to make her mom happy. Okay. And then it turns out Azumi was being a dick so he could try to save his wife. I'm like, they're just pulling this out of their ass at this point. Sure, they had, some room for him to realize the error of his ways, and the way they did direct it didn't make him completely unredeemable, but he was still, pretty bad. It was just really... It was starting to get a little sloppy. And, once the final battle between, Soma and Erina was going down, I expected a little more. I think that's the thing. We all expected a little more near the end. Something big. Some big moment of turning point for Erina and Soma, where they get this really big moment of buddy-buddy relationship, because they were building so much between the two. They had that flashback sequence of all the times they've spent together, how Soma's has been developed by her, how she's been developed by him, and the fact that he made the same dish that brought her out of the darkness twice, but with one that was meant to be with her, and they did the whole God's tongue to gift again, where they made everybody nude, and it wasn't a surprise anymore because of the previous arc, but it happens again on a bigger scale. I'm just like, okay. So Soma makes Erina and her mom orgasm, is the best way to describe it, and that's great. That's wonderful. So maybe this is it. Maybe this is the... I mean, I didn't really see a desirable ending for seeing Soma win the blue and then he becomes the personal chef for Erina's mom. I would have probably preferred more of that if it was just for Erina. So then Erina wins, and Soma gets second. He's salty, and he pulls a dad move, his father's legacy, and leaves for 6 months to explore the world and also become follow in his father's footsteps. Except the part where he actually did the blue, and then left. And then there's the whole ending that was really rushed together, showing some of the aftermath, like Edina getting her family back together, like all of them to do a whole big ass redemption. And then the fucking gross plot twist that we found out was that Asahi was indeed Azumi's kid. Like, I thought he was just a discount successor. No. He's not a discount successor. He's actually his son from a one-night stand. And his son tried to marry his other daughter. Unknowing incest. What? But obviously it's all put aside now. It doesn't matter. They're a happy family. They're eating together. Asahi finally gets a family. He gets to be happy. That's great. And then Erina's missing Soma. And then I'm expecting it. The big fucking build up to Erina and Soma's relationship. She waits for him at the diner. He returns. He preps to make her say that the food is delicious. And she has this monologue about that pretty much says that she has fallen for him in a sense, but she just really wants his cooking above everybody else's. And then everyone else barges in. And then he does one more gag of feeding people the gross octopus thing. Okay. And then she does like a, oh, you silly you. And then it's over. It's fucking over. It just ends. No kiss. No oishi. Umai. No umai. She doesn't get to say it's delicious. No nothing. Not even a satisfying conclusion to this build-up relationship. And I'm just like left in this 99% state of ecstasy that just got super let down by this really rushed ending. And I was just like, oh my god. The intro for the fifth plate, compared to every other hype intro that we got, was a real letdown. And it clearly was the foreshadow of what was to come, of how much I was going to be let down by this anime. By this fifth plate, by this extra inning that was just a rehash of what just happened before, but not done as well. You know it, it's fucked. When a fan produces, a fan draws the ending that we were expecting to get, something good enough or close enough to it. An image of Soma saying that he's going to make something that makes her say delicious, and the secret to being a great chef is dedicating your cooking to someone. And then they show like this epilogue image of Erina and Soma together with a kid. That was drawn by a fan. That was just one extra page. That was all that needed to happen. And it didn't fucking happen. It was like eating a good dish that then lost its flavor midway, and it left a sour taste in my mouth. Appropriate cooking metaphor to describe Shokugeki no Soma. I was really let down. I was salty. But after I saw the fan-made image, I'm like, this is the ending. That's what happened. That's totally what happened. This is canon. It's fan, but you know what? It's fanon. It's canon, fanon. Because clearly, the people who did such a great job at getting this spicy series up so far really just let it flop from this extra inning that didn't need to happen. So, real briefly as I fucking can, because now it's been an hour thanks to me rambling about a few things in the anime category, but High School DxD I started rewatching. I thought I was on Season 3, but in actuality I was on Season 4, because then Season 3 was a fever dream. I guess during the blackout period for anime for me really made some of the many anime that I watched kind of like a hazy memory kind of deal. But High School DxD was an anime about is with demons and chessboard games and a guy who's passionately perverted for boobies. And he gets to some emotional moments, which, move me. And the action side of things, it's actually pretty nice. I like it, and it gets me pumped up too. And the intro for Season 1, and then the second half of Season 2 were my fucking favorite. I couldn't remember jack shit for Season 3. And then I started rewatching it, it was like, oh, yeah, this is the one where he goes berserk in the dragon form, because I remember that. And then I don't really remember the second half of it. And then I'm like, oh, right. Okay, yeah. There's the whole arc between him and Rias and saying her name instead of Bucho. And then they fucking throw that out the window. But, so I was rewatching all that. And then I made sure to watch some of the OVAs, because I know I didn't see all of it. But I saw some, but I didn't see all of it. And, it was great. You know, I really liked Issei's harem. You know, Rias and Akino, my babes. And then even Ashia is pretty cute too. I'm just not a big fan of Koneko. That's really all it is to it, because everyone should know my type by now is long-haired, beautiful women. And Koneko's short-haired lolly. That's like 180 of my type. Just not even close. But I still appreciate Koneko's dere side after her being like so-called in soon to Issei for a good like 2 seasons. But yeah, so there's all that, and so as I finally start season 4, and everyone knows what I'm about to fucking talk about right now. It's that change of fucking art style. I still haven't looked up what caused them to shift studios from the studio that really like brought out the sexiness and the edge of the series to this. There's been some moments watching, I'm like 5 episodes in, like I finished the 5th episode as of this recording, where it's not so bad, and some of the new characters look good. It's just, when you, the poppiness, the more cute, roundy style is not fitting at all for one of the most sexy series ever. It feels like a disjoint. And then even the intro isn't as completely as fucking banger as, like, I feel like, excuse me, I fucking burped. Hey guys, I finally burped in this recording. Like the intro for season 1, and half the intro for season 2, like the fucking rock and the, like, tech that's mixed in with it was really good. And then, like, High School DxD Born's intro was like, alright, because obviously I didn't remember it. I didn't even have it on my iTunes. That's just how, like, it was for me. And so, even this one is just like, okay. But, starting episode 0, which was recapping season 3's events, except a little different near the end, because they completely, like, skipped out on the fact that they got corrupted, and Rias and the Issei, like, saying her name arc just got written out, and the Boob Dragon song was the one that saved him and all that shit, instead of like the more emotional, satisfying thing they did before. I thought they were gonna like pull it like, oh yeah, this is just a movie, it's not what really happened. I'm like, because that's not what happened. That's not what I just rewatched briefly. And then of course with the new style that's like where the characters' heads, it's just like it's either too roundy or just it's missing the edge that makes it sexy. And then like there's even this one face that I linked into the weeb corner of Rias being all fucking ooh, that just looks bad. It just doesn't look good at all. It just like I said, there are some angles, like even in the intro and ending, like they actually had some good shots that make the art style look okay, but it's still gonna pale in comparison to the more like superior, in my opinion, art style. I'm clearly still enjoying what I'm watching and all that stuff. It's just the impact, the whole like oomph from it is just gonna be a little missing here, and I don't know why they had to switch studios. Whatever reason, it was their loss to try and make a season 4 with this new art style. It wasn't good. It's like how I felt when I was watching Setokai no Ichizon. I really loved season's 1 art style, and then they went for that more similar. I wonder if that's the same studio, because I haven't looked at that yet. But they did a similar fucking thing with season 2, and I was sort of okay with it to a degree, but I really liked season 1's more at the end of the fucking day. So that's what I was feeling with like High School DxD, and I'm just like, oh man. And then the other minor thing they changed was Ashia's hair. I really liked it back in like the original anime art style, and then they just made it more poofy and a little out there. I mean, she's still cute, aside from when the animation style makes the heads just look jank. I don't like it. I really don't like it. It misses the mark for me. But yeah, Otherwise, there's some characters that do look good or better in the new art style, but yeah, that's just... Anyways, so clearly Boob Dragon is just... I really enjoy how he just gets powered up just because of boobs. I want someone to make an anime where a guy is super perverted and wants to be a harem king over legs. I will watch that. I'll support that. Domo, hello everybody. This is a post-recording Dante, here to correct my little ramble I had about High School DxD, because shortly after the recording, while I was eating dinner, I managed to finish the rest of Season 4, and finally did my fucking homework to why the studios changed and all. So, let me just briefly talk about how I felt about the rest of Season 4. Now, if I put aside the animation stuff, because I'm going to talk about the animation behind-the-scenes stuff later, I actually liked the rating game section a lot between Issei and the other fucking super strong dude, because he was a very respectable character with very respectable ideals, and, you know, after dealing with the fucking corrupt organization bullshit that kind of just came and went, this was definitely, like, the more highlight part of Season 4. And originally, I had so much fucking beef with the whole fact that Issei has to go back to calling Rias Bucho and not fucking saying, you know, her actual name because of, like, everything that happened at the end of Season 3, until I started doing my homework and finding out the whole shebangle. But anyways, that final fight was pretty fucking great. It was moving, and I liked the whole transformation Issei went through, and the whole, like, you know, love struggle that he was going through, and that his harem supported him and all that jazz. And then he came to that big ass fucking confession moment twice, and then a slight few seconds of they were gonna kiss, but then everyone interrupted, but then they got to kiss, and I was just like, yes! Oh god! So fucking happy for that. So that was just like the ultimate payoff. But at first, I was pretty irritated with the fucking, like, what he's still gonna call her president and just not fucking say her name. Like, what the fuck? This is why I didn't want that shit to get retconned. But then I realized something. I always knew in the back of my head that maybe this is gonna be a little more accurate to the light novel, and maybe there was a change made to the light novel. So then I did my fucking homework, and I found out that the reason the studio even shifted in the first place from TNK to Passion was because TNK at the end of Born made a big ass difference. So the Passion, when they did the fucking episode 0, was the correcting the actual light novel accurate version of what happened, which was calming down Issei by using the Oppai dragon and letting him poke Ria's boobs, and not the really intense, epic, dramatic version we actually got from TNK, which, you know, I won't lie, it was still pretty cool. Like, it's good in its own sense, but clearly for light novel fans and all that jazz, that just doesn't click with them. And then the fact the whole final part of the episode, which was like when that Loki had the fake Issei seduce Rias into the darkness or whatever, and they had that whole, like, final battle and going through, like, the whole vortex, and for having this moment where he did say her name, but then that was, like, undone because they forgot their memories and all that shit. Like, that whole bit never happened. That was one of those anime exclusive things. So it was because I thought that was what happened that I was so pissed off about, like, oh my god, now he forgot, and now Rias is being mad again about him just calling her president. But no, it never happened. That was not, like, a thing. And they just added that in, and it was, like, unnecessary. I honestly thought, too, that final fight, when I was rewatching it, was, like, unnecessary, and the way the anime Season 4 did it, the way it's supposed to actually happen, was a lot better. Like, this, it really fucks up Rias' character in the TNK exclusive edition, because it just makes her seem so moody about not being called by her name that she just fights her fucking family over it and almost kills Issei. It was kind of bad. But yeah, so I can see that even if I do like the TNK, like, animation and how they did the other arc prior to that, I have to like accept that. Yeah, it should have stuck to the source material. It's definitely the fact that it was solved with the old Play Dragon song definitely is kind of like. But this is a series where Issei gets powered up by the power of boobs, so. Yeah, I can. It's like a middle ground for me. Like I'm like I get it, and then I'm sad, and then I'm just like fuck. So it's fucked. It's all fucked, guys. We lost good quality because the studio themselves did something, and now because of that we had to go to our slightly downgraded. I mean, it was Passion had its moments in animation where it did look good. It's like some angles look good, some still looked but I definitely would have preferred like the TNK style versus Passion. But now I know why, and now you people listening, if you didn't already know why. It's just fucked. So I don't know what to expect for season 5, since there's of course a foreshadow for that, but there's no way Passion could be the same studio doing it twice just because of the whole backlash it's had. But there's no way we can go back to TNK because they pulled that stunt, and knowing the culture over there, they hold grudges very serious. So unless an unrealistic miracle happens where they come to a compromise, there's no way that's coming back. But yeah. So yeah, I finished High School DxD. Officially, after this Spoodcast, I don't know what I'm watching next, but that was pretty much most of my most of the fucking bucket list of anime that I saved for this one folder. It's all organized in folders in order of when I downloaded them and was ready to watch them. So yeah, that's just my little post Spoodcast edition for High School DxD, because I didn't want to just leave this Spoodcast with that information of my half knowing nothing and then finishing the season shortly after with the whole everything. So yeah, that's gonna be the end of post Dante. So now back to Dante of the past, where the rest of the hour and 30 minutes is now an hour and 36-ish minutes. 7. I'm fucking this up, but anyways, yeah, bye. So yeah, High School DxD, powered up by boobs, perverted have legs version, ta. That's it. That's all about anime. As we could see, these abridged Spoodcasts are more dedicated to me just ranting about anime. At this point, we'll just call it Dante's Abridged, or not even abridged. It's not even abridged. It's an hour because I was talking about anime. My Dante talks about anime and Yakuza Spoodcast. All that's left to talk about is games and then updates, which consist of Yakuza Dead Souls and Yakuza 6. Surprise, surprise, it's more Yakuza talk, but we're getting closer to the end of me finishing the Yakuza series, so then I could finally play all the other games in my list of games to play. But I finished Dead Souls, and, after a while, I mean, I still did all of the sub-stories that I can do, but I didn't get to do, this one where you go through all this like a dungeon-like area where the floors are never the same and you have to slay through enemies and keep going down floors and shit. I didn't do that with Akiyama and Kiryu because when I did it with Majima and Ryuji, it was just long and arduous, and while the flashlight was not really as much of a problem as I thought it would be, it was just a pain in the ass. It was like the one part of the game where I was like, alright, I'm not invested enough to do the whole thing, but I was invested enough to do as much as I can for, literally everything else, even crafting weapons that I, couldn't craft. But I didn't, stay to, really grind my members through the Gary's boot camp to the max. I really didn't stay long to do any of that. I spent more time with the hostesses. I did all that fun stuff. I finished the game, and it had, the most Resident Evil fucking ending ever with, the virus was called the Thanatos virus, and it was described as something that makes the endorphin emitters in the people's brain go into overdrive and make them feel really fucking good. And then they want to share that good feeling with everyone else when they bite into them. So, they just told me that it's the T-virus, but it's kinky, because it makes people feel good to be a zombie. What the fuck? Thanks, Yakuza. Thanks for making zombies erotic. as if I wasn't flirting with the zombies already. But now they were feeling good. Kinky. Really fucking kinky. So yeah, that was a thing. And then the fucking final boss was one of the Yakuza guys, and they had a dynamic intro with it, which was really cool. Like, it had Kiryu and Ryuji working together, going up the Millennium Tower. That was really fucking cool. Like, I really liked this. I really liked the way it was taking things. And the ending just came a lot faster than I expected. I was like, it's going down like this. Oh shit. All right. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go. Boom, boom, bang. So then that happens. And then you fight like the fucking dude who gets mutated into, his own zombie mega form. It was just crazy. Like, I'm just blasting through bitches, and Kiryu's anti-material rifle was basically Tiger Drop, but I can shoot it now. Without having to counter, it's just shoot bitches to death with it, and they're fucked. More powerful than a Magnum. More powerful than any rocket that I've ever fired in my life. It was the anti-fucking material rifle. Fuck. So I use that, and then we defeat, like, the boss, and then he fucking mutates to gigantic fucking Godzilla-like thing on the roof of the Millennium Tower. And that's when things got taken into 7th gear, where, like, we get, after shooting it enough times, there comes a helicopter. Oh, helicopter? What's it gonna drop? Grenades. Oh, just grenades? Throw it in the mouth, shoot it a little bit. There was even a QTE section to do a little quick shot. I'm like, oh, nice. But wait, there's more. Here's a bazooka. Oh no, the helicopter's going down after throwing the bazooka. Well, what are you gonna do? Kiryu, take that bazooka, aim it right where it matters, and then I, on the stream, said, game over. And blasted that fucking thing, and then the dude was stopping it, so then Kiryu whips out the pistol, QTE time. Aw shit, it's Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. Jackpot. Fucking awesome. And then, of course, the guy that developed the virus that was started a bunch of shit fucking gets wrecked. He gets karma 102%. And, yeah. And then the city just returns to fucking normal. Casually. And, they're scared of drunk people, I guess. But yeah, it just gets so ridiculous. I was all for it. I stayed a little bit to do a little of the premium adventure stuff, but obviously I wasn't invested enough to, like, do that. I just wanted to move on to 6. I mean, I did a little bit. I did some stuff. I did, like, this one thing for the doc that I didn't get to do, which then led me to do this bonus event, which I didn't stream, because then I realized, oops, I fucked up. Haha. So I did that, and then we finally started 6, and I spent 20 hours in 6 on Chapter 1, just food grinding, because Dragon Engine days kind of really make me want to, like, grind so it doesn't become a slog fest. I don't even remember what it was like playing Yakuza Kiwami 2 at the default base status. I just know that when I was playing, like, by the end, Kitty was just moving at the way I really wanted to. Hits fast, punches fast, like, doesn't get too fucking thrown off by all the blocking, because when they block in their Dragon Engine, you get pushed back, and it just fucks you up. And, yeah, it's just... So I did a lot of grinding for that. I'm the guy who likes to plant his seeds so that he gets a bigger return as he plays the game, and they were definitely giving me a lot of XP just by doing everything, just by going to the cabaret clubs, just by doing the fucking live chat simulator, and oh my god. And then of course I was still eating in between, so there was a lot of things going on. It was just it's great to be playing Yakuza again, because when I played as Kiryu for Dead Souls for 5 seconds, you get to punch zombies and kick them, and it was really cool, but it didn't really last that long. But yeah, so after I was done, like, powering myself up to as much as I believe was appropriately possible, which ended up me upgrading my base stats to, like, A rank, which then unlocks Limit Break, so you can go from 200 of every stat to 300. I started making a little bit more progress in the game. Everything is voiced in this game, and I don't super mind that. At the same time, in terms of streaming and doing any voice acting shenanigans, and as a voice actor, I really take the backseat. Like, I can't I don't get to really do much because, their sub-stories have people talking. Everyone is voiced. I think they saw that this wasn't really that good of a decision, or maybe not worth the voice investment for whatever they did, because then they stopped doing that by Kiwami 2 and Judgment. But it was definitely interesting to just have a full game where Takuya Kuruda really gets to just go all out as Kiryu in these sub-stories because of the fact that everything was voiced. And even like characters that we get to see return from other series who did have voices now get to fully do a whole bit as their characters. It was cool. And so it was a good idea at the time, but I feel like it kind of took some of the flavor out. But yeah. So I believe I'm almost halfway through the game, and I pretty much have all the heat skills except for the increased rush combo before you get to do what we have dubbed the Dragon Flurry in extreme heat mode, because I like using that heat action. It's so good. As a voice actor, and the guy who likes to add the voice acting rage flavor to it, it's really cathartic. And I know it's the same QTE buttons sequence, so I can really just focus on doing the voice acting while beating the shit out of someone with my fist. It's so good. So good. I know for a lot of people this was like the jank time for everybody because it was the first time the Dragon Engine was introduced. But for like people who did start at 0 and then play Kiwami 1 and 2, we were already well acquainted with the Dragon Engine. Although it's like this one, Kiwami 2 came after 6, so there was like some improvements. Like having the drugstore, I don't know why they took that out. Or the soda can upgrade from actually making them storable in your inventory rather than just something you have to drink as soon as you pull it out of the fucking vending machine. Yeah, it was interesting. They definitely had some minor improvements to it. But the game ultimately still feels, after I did my upgrades of course, feels as good as it did in Kiwami 2. Obviously, since I spent a good majority of my time with the game, of like, after Kiwami 2, I played the original 1, I played the original 2, we played 3, 4, 5, where the combat style was, mostly consistent and relatively the same. Suddenly to go back to the more, ragdolly and semi-real Dragon Engine style was definitely a shift, but at least for me, like, heat actions were like something you can do a lot more often, and they still had their crunch as well. There's still some heat actions from the old series that still were better and all that jazz, but I still can applaud them because I still enjoy using them, and especially with the Dragon Flurry one, that I'm not bored. It took a while to figure out some of the other heat actions because I didn't realize stunned heat actions needed like extreme heat mode to do, but I had a good time. I figured it out. I'm using them all. I just like to utilize my entire arsenal. So, yeah, that's what we've been doing. That's Yakuza 6. I'm halfway through the story, and I was like, I'm really, as a father, I'm really angry. My daughter. I don't want to, I'm not gonna dive into too much spoiler territory, but let's just say that, my daughter, I'm going to destroy the world for her right now. While I take care of all these other side stories, like sub-stories like going fishing in the best form of fishing ever, the fucking harpoon shooting game money-making thing that got me back to 1,000,000 yen, especially after I had to pay for Baseball Man to get at 1,000,000 yen. I got some work to fucking do. I definitely got some work to do, but I'm definitely gonna spend my time getting all the shit that I can done. I'm going to face the Amon in this game, and no one's gonna fucking stop me. I've already been digesting this series just as much as I did with 5. I'm gonna see it through to the end. I may not have been able to fight the Amon in Dead Souls, Yakuza Original 2, and 3, but I will face him this one last time in 6. But that's gonna be it for video game talks. So, after an hour and 20 minutes of me going off about anime and video games, let's just talk about what's going on over at the DarkAbridgerEX. So, first things first. Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. So, as we already know, we already got the first half out. I started a little bit on the second half, but then like a little bit of mixed shit's been going on. The holiday season really fucks me up a little bit. But then at the same time, there was also me trying to write the GM182 Season 2 script before the year ended, so I could still preserve 2 voice actors that were working for me that are going to go pro. But first, let's talk about Resident Evil 2 and 3. So, finally got ourselves handled on the voice actor situation that I was struggling with for like the past 6 months. Or it's almost been 6 months. No, it's been 6 months, because now it's December. I'm going to fucking finish this before the year ends, or I will strangle every bitch who prevented me from... No, I won't do that. I'll strangle myself for not finishing it. Yes, Merry Christmas, bitches. But, yeah, so we got this new voice actress to take care of stuff. We recorded all the lines in a live recording session. At best, I might still have some redos for her for, like, volume, like, where instead of speaking like this, I need you to speak like this, but she's on top of shit, so I don't think I'm going to be waiting too fucking long for this, and we're going to get this ball rolling. It's about fucking time. It was a 2-hour recording session, so I do need, like, mental preparation to dive into that, plus I did record myself with it, so when she has bloopers, there'll be an additional Dante included into it, for more shits and giggles, so... Yes, it's going to be great, but I got to prepare myself to go through all of that. So, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's going to be a thing on that. The plan is, once I do get through her lines and figure out all that fun stuff, I will finish editing the second half of Resident Evil 3 first, since that's what I was doing, and if I'm already there in the editing stage, let me just finish that, and then I'll focus on Resident Evil 2 to the best of my ability. I definitely know it's going to be longer than 3, but it's going to be good. It's going to be really good, because that's how I felt about writing that script. It's going to be a true sequel to Resident Evil 1 Spood. Yeah, so, yeah, that's the status of that. Obviously, of course, some Patreon people will get previews of meeting some characters in the Resident Evil 2 Spood, so we'll get that going. And then, of course, I will whip up that probably like the first beginning intro cutscene for everybody for YouTube for free, so we can all get that going. So yeah, there's that. Now, GM18 Season 2 script that I was writing that made me hold back on Resident Evil 2 and 3 for a bit, I got halfway through the season, really trying to abridge it. I was trying to do like a one-shot deal, but then it turned into a two-shot deal after me trying to still make sure that it's still, GM18 is still good, even if I'm mega abridging this. And then I decided, that's it. Some of my voice actors were kind of going through senioritis, and I contemplated whether I'm really need to put this effort and focus on it when I could be finishing other stuff. And so we talked it out. And so a video is going to be made on who is graduating and going into the professional world, because I really do want to pay tribute to the voice actors in question for all their hard work for me in the past, like, 6 years. 6 or 4 years, depending on which one of the two it is. But, yeah, so I stopped writing Season 2 script. We're at least halfway there when I decide it's appropriate to pick it back up. But, otherwise, yeah. It's looking good so far. It's just a matter of the fact that I really shouldn't put my attention to that right now when I have a Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 that's ready to go. For the most part, I just need to put my focus on that. Other than that, I do want to still make sure I'm around for the holiday spirit, so these 3 months I fucking hate it, because obviously, like, I know it's gonna be good stuff that I'm producing for the holiday season, like the Thanksgiving Spood skit I briefly did, and like the Halloween Spood skit that I made. I have one that I was going to have for Christmas last year, but then somebody just decided to retire on me without really being upfront and honest with me about it. So now it's going to be passed off to their successor. We just need to apparently have a call because they need to sharpen their skills on the thing. So hopefully we'll have that Christmas thing out and released and all good fun stuff, because it's my least favorite Christmas song, but when I changed it to what I changed it to, it's better. So, that's that. That's your little preview bit for me on that. The last thing is something that I gotta take care of ASAP, and I was on the Wardcast like just this few days ago, and Shaun gave us this objective to he sent us this footage and he told us to do whatever we want with it, but strictly with that footage. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. You'll understand. But I was given 3 categories: raisins, silence, and umbrella. And I had to make a little, like, parody, spood, skit thingamadoober with the limited footage I got that involves the themes in my style. So, I whipped up just writing the script just now about what it's going to be with my interpretation of it, and yeah, I just need somebody to go do the voice for me, and then I edit it, and then that's it. I need to have that ready by this Saturday, getting me more work to do when I had a lot of work to do. But hey, that could probably be the closest thing I get to a spoot skit, even if it's not Christmas related. What are you gonna do? So yeah, that's coming up. When Senpai is caught up on posting Wardcast and that particular episode is out, I will have that released onto YouTube as well. In the meantime, it's just gonna be in the works, in the shadows somewhere. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening to my 1 hour and 30-minute TED Talk about everything. As we can see, with so much anime being watched, it's not really an abridged spoodcast, especially when I'm rambling about things. But I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble. We got one more solo spoodcast, quote-unquote, abridged, left, and then I'm going to hold the poll. In fact, I might just hold the poll to ask, how do you guys really feel about the spoodcast? Do you want it to keep going next year? Like, if I do it next year, I give you the option, do you want it to be the abridged spoodcast, where it's just me alone, even though I know pretty much that answer to that question is no. Or, if you want, and if we do, like, I feature a guest every fucking episode, we'll have that going. And rewind. So basically, I'm asking, do you want us to continue the spoodcast? And if you do you want it the solo one, or do you want it with the guest, where I have people and we do more entertainment and all that stuff? We're gonna have that poll. Or the third option is no more spoodcast, and don't do that anymore. So yeah, there's gonna be a poll on that, released right after this video is released, and it'll be up to you to decide what I do on that front for content. Other than that, thank you guys for listening as always. Have yourself a good day or night, whatever the fuck time it is. And remember that if you go fishing, watch out for Chris Redfield, because he's the top fisher in there and is the top contestant of The Bachelor. Yeah. Alright. Goodbye. Special thanks to I Has a Voice and Phoenix 4AD. Thank you guys so much for your support.